9:11 a.m. on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Call to order this meeting of the Maine Gambling Control Board. We are in the new board meeting space in Augusta, the Gambling Control Unit. Beautiful new offices, a new boardroom. My name is Steve Silver and I'm the board chair. Before we go any further, I'll explain the circumstances under which we're holding this meeting. This is a hybrid meeting, so there are Zoom attendees. The rest of us are in person at 45 Commerce Drive in Augusta. The board expects that members of the public who attend the board meeting virtually will be able to provide public comment to the same extent as those who are here in person. If you're participating via Zoom, mute your devices until it's your time to talk. The Gambling Control Unit, on behalf of the board, posted notices of this meeting on its website with instructions on how members of the public could access it. In addition, the unit, on behalf of the board, sends agendas in advance of the meeting to those who've requested to receive those. So if you're not getting them and you want to, please contact Director Champion. He'll get you put on the list. At this time, I'll introduce the other board members and confirm that we have a quorum. So when I call your name, and identify yourself, where you're from in Maine. And we will start with you, Ms. Bickmore.
Ellie Bickmore, Cape Elizabeth, Maine.
Chief March.
Good morning, Noel March. I reside in Hamden, Maine.
Ms. Maine Boynton.
Darcy Maine Boynton, Hamden, Maine.
Mr. Hanslip, is he on Zoom? Okay, he's absent. And I'm Steve Silver from South Portland, Maine. We've really got a split here. You know, yeah, north and south. So we've got 4 members present, which constitutes a quorum. And so with that, forward to today's agenda, the first being the approval of minutes from the June 17th, 2025 meeting. Any comments, edits, things like that on the minutes of that meeting? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Okay, let's take a vote. Ms. Bickmore,
Aye.
Chief March,
Aye.
Ms. Maine Boynton.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. So those minutes are passed, and with that, we will go to Deputy Director Motti for the operations report.
Good morning. This is the operations report for August 19th, 2025. In June, there were 5 shipments of machines and or associated equipment shipped to and from licensed facilities. In July, there were 18. There were 67 work orders completed in June and 119 in July, which ranged from new game installations, removals, changing themes, operations, and communication issues. There were 52 entries into the inspector pass down log in June and 57 in July to share information not only from within the facility, but also between the facilities. In June, there were 5 formal complaints, and in July, there were 5 with status updates reported in the complaint dashboard. 15 consent agreements are being completed by the Assistant Attorney Generals. 4 letters of guidance were issued. 6 dismissals for insufficient gravity to warrant a formal investigation, and 4 are being responded to by the facilities. There were 2 patron complaints. There were 34 self-exclusions in June and July. 24 exclusions were 1 year. 2 were 3 year, 3 were 5 year, and 5 were lifetime. The total as of July 2025 is 106 1 year, 40 3 year, 68 5 year, and 274 lifetime. Lori Manson from AdCare gave the following information regarding calls to 211 for June and July of 2025. Problem gambling calls, there were 21. 11 were males, 9 were females, none were veterans. Under the age of 19, there was 1. 20 to 24, there were 0. 25 to 34, there were 2. 25 to 34, There were 3, 35 to 44. There were 2, 45 to 54. There were 2, 55 to 64. There was 1, and 65 and over. There was 1, 65 to 74. There was 1, 75 and over. There were none, and there were 9 of unknown age. Casino related, there were 5, and 1 from lottery. Sports wagering had 2, online gambling had 6, all others, there were 6. Oxford PD reported 21 calls in June and July, some of which were 1 arrest, 5 medical, 4 suspicious activity, 2 possible intoxication, 5 potential driving under the influence, and 4 undesirable conduct. Bangor PD reported 42 calls June and July, some of which were 4 under the influence, 4 welfare checks, 2 fraud, 5 informational, 1 medical, 1 burglary, 4 open line 911, 3 escort off property, 4 animal issues, and 5 auto accidents. And that concludes the operations report, August 19th, 2025.
Any questions for Deputy Director Monty? Okay, in the reports, is it possible to keep like a trailing list of the numbers for the self-exclusions? So like the last meeting, I think there were 27 over that 2 month. This meeting, there's 34. We just see the,
Sure.
The difference in
trend.
just because I went and looked and it was. So our first meeting this year was 27 over a 2 month, then it was 22, back to 27, now 34. That's not enough to really tell us anything, but I think if we look back over a year, we may see a trend, or not, but it'd be interesting to know. That's why I asked. Okay. All right, well, thank you. So moving along, we'll turn to Auditor Alex Jutov for a financial report.
Tax revenue collected from both casinos to the state of Maine decreased by 3.1% or by $182,895 in June 2025, and increased by 1.66% or by $101,778 in July 2025, compared to same months in 2024. Total tax revenue collected from both casinos so far during 2025 was $40,147,664, which is an increase of 1.43% or $565,608 compared to prior year. Specifically by casino, Oxford Casino reported the total net win from slot machines of 7.23%. and a total win from table games of 21.8% for June 2025. And total net win from slot machines of 7.58% and total win from table games of 26.65% for July 2025. Albert Casino reported a total net win from slot machines of 8.7% and a total win from table games of 27.11%. for June 2025, and the total net win from slot machines of 8.47% and a total win from table games of 23.64% for July 2025. In the area of advanced deposit wagering, revenue increased by 106% or $18,085 in June 2025, and increased by 48% or $9,356 in July 2025 compared to same months last year. Total tax revenue collected from out-of-state and in-state races so far this year was $181,461, which is an increase of 41% or 52,069, $694 time last year. That's it for the report.
Okay, any questions, for Mr. Jutah? Thank you. Not sure whether this goes here in board business, but I'll just ask, since we have representatives from both casinos here. Maybe at the next meeting, either you want to speak or prepare materials. I'd like to understand more about how the potential for this iGaming bill could impact your operations, revenue. And I understand you may need to obviously talk to folks from your parent companies too, but you know, I will probably be having conversations as the legislature is gearing up and want to be intelligent as to, you know, what it is or what not. And I have no idea, and I don't think anyone in this room has any idea as to what will happen with that bill. But I'd like to know with sort of the best guesses we can as to how this will affect revenue. And then if it were to be signed into law, what changes perhaps at the board level that could be made to help the properties compete? Because in my opinion, it's going to be really difficult. And I'm not sure what power we have versus what the legislature needs to do, but if there are board rules or things that we can address that may make it such that we, you know, protect main jobs, I'd like to know that. But I sort of need to be armed with the information that you all could provide. So you know, whatever format you want that to be, I think in the October meeting, we'll put a note on the agenda just to hear from the properties and anyone else, right? iGaming companies want to talk, sure. Mobile operators want to come, that's fine. I think we all need to understand what it is we're staring down in January and be ready to act. So, okay. All right, with that, we will turn to Executive Director Champion for his report.
Oh, good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce our newest staff member, Riley Brown, who is our administrative assistant to both Matt and me. Her position will be followed by an additional licensing supervisor, an office specialist, and a charitable auditor position after last session laws become effective September 24th. A rulemaking update, certified laboratory rulemaking is currently under legal review and is due somewhere around October 17th. With approval today from Chapter 13, a legal review will be due 120 days from forwarding to the Attorney General's office. After 30 years of service, Detective Donnie Armstrong is retiring. After consultation with the Commissioner's Office and the Maine State Police, we will not be replacing the position with a detective as it is not required by law. Instead, we are hiring a licensing supervisor and reclassifying the sports wagering inspector position to a licensing analyst or equivalent to assist our licensing specialist, Mallory Riley, in issuing licenses in all areas, with the exception of charitable gaming. Employees of the casinos and other licensees will be handled by the licensing supervisor, the analyst, and of course, Mallory, with assistance from the casino inspectors for casino employees. Under subsection 1003, powers and duties of the board, and subsection 1005, powers and duties of the department, I will be initiating a competitive bidding process for the completion of background checks related to business organizations and their key executives, directors, officers, partners, shareholders, creditors, owners, and associates for licensure, which may include a mini bid of pre-qualified vendors. Currently, there are 2 pre-qualified vendors, GLI, which is Gaming Laboratory International, and GIS, which is Gaming Integrity Services. GIS is currently under contract to review business entity backgrounds for fantasy and sports wagering. Whichever process is used, I will come back to the board at the October meeting with the results and, of course, board approval. Until then, I will work with the unit licensing personnel to complete these reviews. In an effort to provide more training for unit staff and specifically for our casino inspectors, I've arranged for GLI to provide training in Maine rather than having the expense of sending everyone to Las Vegas for their annual training courses, such as their roundtable session. Once approved, which we are submitting today for procurement approval, the training will be during the week of September 22nd, with the 20 and 23rd, 24th being the actual training dates to be held here at the main office in Augusta. I'd also like to invite board members that can attend so that you also have the same information for future decision making. The training outline has been provided in your meeting documents in the Dropbox. I want to publicly thank our Deputy Director, Matthew Motti, for his leadership and technical expertise in the preparation of our new conference room that we are in here today. His attention to detail was nothing short of exemplary, and it may not have been done or completed in time if it were not for his patience and persistence to get it done in time. Thanks, Matt.
Very nice.
And finally, if you're making a statement or comment to the board, I would ask that you come to the podium, state your name and organization you are from so that we may have a proper identification and recording of speakers. I know in the past, sometimes we just had conversations from the chairs, but obviously the chairman can make that decision as well. But it makes it a lot better if you would come to the podium, state your name, where you're from, and then make your comments from there. Okay, and that's my report.
Okay, any questions for Executive Director? Okay, with that, we have one table game distributor license renewal for Interblock USA LLC, and I'm actually gonna turn this over to Chief March. Take this one.
May I hold the gavel? That's it.
Doesn't leave this.
Doesn't hurt to ask. Went right to my head. Well, good morning, everyone. This next item on our agenda, Interblock USA LLC is seeking a table game distribution of renewal of their license. And please attend to the following. We're reviewing this application for Interblock USA LLC to be licensed as a table game distributor pursuant to Title 8 Maine Revised Statutes annotated Section 1001. This is not an adjudicatory proceeding. Instead, we'll be receiving an opinion from board staff supported by evidence obtained during an investigation. We will also provide the applicant with an opportunity to be heard. And finally, the public is also invited to participate, and time will be allotted for comment. The applicant seeking a license as a table game distributor is Interblock USA LLC. Is there anyone in attendance here representing the applicant? Or on Zoom? Seeing none, we will continue. But before we proceed, Assistant Attorney General Bill Mantis will ask a few questions. Bill?
Thank you, Chief. Does any member of the board have any reason such as personal bias or conflict of interest that prevent him or her from rendering an impartial decision in this matter?
Sitting this one out due to a conflict.
Does any other person present at the hearing believe that there's any reason that would prevent any board member from rendering an impartial decision in this matter? So if so, please stand, state your name, or raise your virtual hand, and state your objection to the basis for that objection. Hearing none. If there are objections to any pre-hearing proceedings as the procedure of this case up to this point, please stand, state your name, or raise your virtual hand, and state the objection to the basis for that objection. Seeing and hearing none, Chief, you may proceed.
Thank you, Phil. Each board member has received copies of documents the board staff is relying upon to support its opinion. Those documents will become part of the record. The complete investigation has been made available for inspection by the board. Copies of the complete investigation are not available for public distribution at this time, as much of the written material is confidential. If any person would like a copy of the public portion of the documents, please speak with Milton Champion, our executive director, and he will arrange to have those materials provided to you. During deliberations, the board may be required to go into executive session to discuss those confidential portions of the record. All other materials will, of course, be discussed in public. Any other evidence, such as the conclusions of the board staff, information provided today by board staff, statements made and/or documents provided by the applicant, and public comment will also be a part of the record. Based on the documents presented, are there any questions related to the renewal of Interblock USA LLC? Not in the audience. Zoom, does any board member have a question for Executive Director Champion relative to this renewal? Milton, what's your recommendation for this application?
I recommend that we approve.
Thank you. The Executive Director recommends approval. We'll now take any public comment on this application in the room or on Zoom. This couldn't get any easier. That's about a gavel. Thank you all for participating, or now that we see that there is no, we're going to move to a motion. However, here's some instructions first. Excuse me. Is there a motion on the application of Interblock USA LLC for renewal licensure as a table game distributor?
So moved.
Thank you. Kelly moves.
Second.
Darcy is seconded. But before we begin discussion, I would remind board members that some of the information before us is confidential. It may become necessary to discuss some materials in executive session. It is likely, however, that we can discuss some of the confidential materials in a summary way so that the public can be included for as much of our deliberations as possible. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'm going to move for a vote by calling roll. Kelly Bickmore, how do you vote on this renewal?
Aye.
Darcy Main Boynton,
Aye.
Steve Silver is abstaining. Is Mr. Hanslip with us at this point? He's absent. I am an aye as well. So the votes are tabulated as 3 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1 absence. So 3 carries the motion. The motion passes. Having met all the requirements of licensing pursuant to Title 8, Chapter 31, Interblock USA LLC will be licensed as a table game distributor in the state of Maine. We thank Interblock USA LLC for their continued desire to do business in Maine. That concludes that portion of our agenda. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
All right, we got one item of unfinished business, which is a rule comment review for chapter 13. There's a copy of the board members of the statement with the prior comments, responsive, and then was there only one new comment? No,
Yes,
it's the one at the end.
yes, at the very end, yes.
All right, so to sort of sum this up, there's an entity called the Responsible Online Gaming Association, ROGA, which consists of Bally's, BetMGM, DraftKings, Bet365, Fanatics, FanDuel, Hard Rock Digital, and Penn Entertainment. And they would like, I guess, the ability or for us to direct that self-excluded patrons, right? So they come, they ask to be excluded in Maine, be shared across state lines to all the ROGA members. I'll let everybody weigh in. I have issues with that, but welcome thoughts. My initial reaction is, one, we have a number of whether it be casinos or sports betting operators who are not members of ROGA. So they would be outside of this sharing. And then folks who exclude in Maine are not consenting to exclude in other states. I suppose we could amend the forms to make it explicit with that, but the the federal government has not made a rule or a law about this, and it's up to the states. You know, my opinion is if they exclude in Maine, they exclude in Maine. They want to travel across state lines, they travel across state lines. But obviously, there's one state, looks like North Carolina, that does permit this sharing amongst this group's membership across state lines. So open to hear thoughts.
So I have concerns with this in that we have a number of people already on the lifetime exclusion list who didn't agree to this. So would this just be going forward with new people with a new
Right.
Something written on there so that they realize this is going to go to other states? Because we certainly wouldn't want to, I don't think, to be retroactive to people who didn't agree to that.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
The exclusion list is confidential, voluntary.
Yeah,
So all that information can't be shared by statute, without the consent of the person.
sure. So I don't think it could be retroactive. I mean, you'd have to change all the forms in rules. I mean, putting aside sort of the effort to do it. I don't know. It's a private organization that doesn't include all of the various gaming operators in Maine. So, my take is we just reject the comment, but if anyone feels differently, it's not up to me. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, well, if I can add to that. We made an attempt in the legislature, I believe, last session or the session before, to bring together our legacy lists, which were the lists that each casino started out with. And we attempted to bring those forward into the universal list. And in doing so, we discovered, after they kind of tweaked the language a little bit to bring those legacy lists into the state list, we found out that we were not able to do that. So that's another kind of crutch in that process, is that we can't force people that only signed out for one of the casinos to come on the state list for both. So this is kind of coincides with what this attempt is today. And so I agree with you. I don't think this is anything that we can do now. And we've been approached by a couple other, I'll say nationwide, self-exclusion type companies and all that. And it's really been tough. Like when I first came up to Maine, the director from Massachusetts, they were looking at just a northeast type of self-exclusion just for the states in the northeast. But there were so many deviations between, the length of time, how to come off the list and all that sort of thing. So that never transpired. So just to kind of give you a little bit of history and then bring it up to the most recent attempt by us to move the legacy forward, I don't think this is something we'd be able to do.
Yeah. And absent, the legislature directing us to do something, I think that's where that's who has to act. So, assuming we're all in agreement of rejecting it, I don't think there's any other comments that we need to address. Then what's the next step here for this rule?
I think we've gone through the basis statement before. You had some time to look at it again. I honestly feel like it's ready. The only thing that we had to respond to was this last individual comment from the second or third publication. So I think at this point, the basis statement is probably in good shape for approval this fall.
Okay. So do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, you can vote to adopt the rules as published and amended as necessary by the board's responses to the comments. And also a separate vote to adopt the basis statement. And
Okay, so two different motions.
I would do two motions.
Okay, so the first motion would be to adopt the basis statement as amended, has been published and amended with our comments to the rules, including today's response, which is to reject the latest comment.
So moved.
Right.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion needed? Okay. Ms. Bickmore,
Aye.
Chief March,
Aye.
Ms. Mayne Boynton.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. All right, and then the next motion would be to adopt.
Adopt the most recent version of the published rules, as amended, as necessarily amended by the responses.
Okay, did you get that, Valerie? To adopt the basis statement as amended. Okay, any discussion?
Oh, no, adopt the published rules.
Adopt the published rules.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions about that? All right, someone want to make that motion?
So moved.
Thanks,
Second.
Kelly.
Second.
Okay, all right, let's take a vote. Ms. Bickmore,
Aye.
Chief March,
Aye.
Ms. Mayne Boynton.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, so. Get that one done, no.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, moving on. We have two requests for removal from the exclusion list. First is patron A. Assuming patron A isn't here or online, but. Okay. I know we typically approve these things, sort of leave it up to the folks. My issue with patron A's request is it provides no information. Other than just saying they want to visit Oxford instead of driving to Encore or Foxwoods. But they excluded from Oxford for a reason. So I don't know. They did have their meeting with AdCare. So I gotta go either way on this one. Or we just ask them to provide some more information about why they excluded and why they want to come back. If you sort of compare it to patron B, you get a history, right, of what happened, what's changed. There's just not much information here, but there is no sort of minimum they need to meet. You know, it's sort of a subjective thing, so. I don't know, I'm fine either way, but. People have thoughts.
And just to remind the board that these legal standard for request to be removed is that you need a detailed explanation.
Yeah, and there's really no detail
Subjective,
here.
yeah. And any history of any violations of the exclusion prior to the request and verification request received a reinstatement session. So here, eventually the detailed explanation may be wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe they excluded for life. Moved away from Maine and now moved back, but like even just that explanation would provide the details. So I mean, my take would be to just go back to patron A and say the board needs a little more detail about why you excluded and why you want to come now, and we take it up. Anyone disagree with that?
No, there's insufficient information for me to make a decision, so I would support that.
Okay. We need a motion to do that. What?
You could table it, you could, I think in the past, the board has allowed a unit to reach out to the patron for a more in-depth, rather than just a full rejection.
Yeah.
To redo it again, so.
So we'll table that and Milt, you can reach out.
Yep.
Now, by contracts, patron B, you can see sort of the explanation here as to what happened in the past and what's going on now. Why they want to come back. And so I feel a lot more comfortable. They've also completed the interview with AdCare in approving patron B coming off of the exclusion list. Questions or thoughts?
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so, and I'm assuming patron B here identify themselves. Okay. All right, so I'll ask for a motion to approve the request for self-exclusion B, patron B, to be removed from the self-exclusion list.
So moved. A second.
Okay, let's take a bite of this big one.
Aye.
Chief March,
Aye.
Ms. Van Boynton,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, so patron B's request is granted. Yeah, I think the program is working out well to have them meet with that care and then come before the board. All right, next up, looks like Oxford is getting some new players cards, so
Yes, sir.
go to introduce yourself for the video and explain what you're doing here.
Matt Gallagher, General Manager for Oxford Casino, and we're requesting kind of a two-part request. One is approval for our new Universal Players Club program called Fast Track. The second part is to request a modification to the advertising chapter 14, 3E, due to limited spacing in the back. So with that, I do believe you have the rules. Fast Track is a wedding card program that's going to be used at all Churchill Downs properties. So it'll be carried over from state to state to state. Pretty similar to all Players Club programs. I do believe Penn uses a similar style. Any questions? I mean, yeah, the rules have been submitted.
What, so in the past, it was just an Oxford only
Yeah.
card? All right, this will be across all Churchill properties. Okay. Point me towards to chapter 14.
Okay.
Is it section 3? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, that'll be for the back of the card. Chapter 14, 3E states advertising must include a disclaimer as follows. Persons under 21 years of age may not enter the gaming area unless licensed as employees. Our request is to use must be 21 or older. This waiver has been granted in the past for areas that have limited space. One example was a airplane banner that we used early in the operation, flying over the beaches and there. So we were requesting the same request.
All right, so say it again. What's the language you're proposing?
Must be 21 or older.
Okay, so in case the board is looking, the current rule says persons under 21 years of age may not enter the gaming area unless licensed as employees. All right, let me pull up the back of your card again. And then do we also have a requirement that you have sort of 2 numbers for main back in the card?
Well, the 1-800 gambler is in there.
Right,
Historically, we've used the 211, which.
yeah, and I just see it says main 2 times, you know.
Yeah.
But, okay. All right. Yeah, I guess the card doesn't. The sort of phrasing about entering the gaming areas. It's not really relevant to having the card. So are we able to vote on a waiver of that?
I haven't found anything in the rules that allow for the board to vote, to change the standards, where there are standards explicitly stated in the rules. So here it says advertising shall comply with the following standards, and there's a quote.
But is this advertising?
That's my question.
In other areas, the unit, at least for example, the sports wagering context is considered promotional cards for DraftKings, et cetera, to be a form of advertising. That's a little different.
That's
because
promotional.
Those are promotional. So these are just limited to those who are engaged in the facility.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think that's lawyer hat on. I think that's my way around, because like if I pick up a card on the ground, it's not telling me anything terms of advertising me to come. Versus whatever happened in the past, certainly a banner flying above is advertising, like, if I just see fast track rewards, I don't even know what it is. Right, I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't say Oxford Casino, or it doesn't say, does it even say Churchill Downs somewhere? I don't even think it does, so I wouldn't really know what it is. I think that's the way out of it built, but
Also, there's vetting being done before these player club cards are issued. So the person has to come in
Sure,
and look
yeah.
at Players Club to get it. So they have to go past security, go up to Players Club. Players Club verifies they're of age or so forth and so on. So I think there's a lot of
yeah.
checkpoints there, reaching to the point where you're just getting a card that you put into a machine to calculate your rewards.
Yeah, I guess the question is, will the unit proceed as we're thinking, which is, this is an advertisement, so that language is not a violation, right? I mean,
No, I don't consider it advertising, though. I think it's like any other credit card reward program.
Yeah.
Once you get in there, you sign up and you're good to go, but they're not actually out there per se promoting it, even though, it's available, so forth and so on.
I think the difference is if you're gonna be running ads, right, online or in print or whatever, to say, hey, look at this new program we have, then that language and the rules gonna have to be in there.
Agreed.
As opposed to the back of the card, which, yeah, you can't get a card unless you're physically at the thing, the window to get it, or the kiosk. So, all right, so I would just say, go for it. I don't think you need it. I don't think there's anything for us to vote on, is there?
No, I do have one area of concern, if it's okay to raise, Mr. Chair, to the board. The promotional credits, are those used for slot machines and table games?
Slot machines.
Just slot machines?
Yes.
Okay. Because I saw in the description the reference to table games.
There could be other
Okay.
programs for table games.
Yeah. And
We
just so
currently-
the board is aware, there are rules obviously regarding promotional credits, and promotional credits are under the rules right now. Or, just pertain to slot machines. Table games have a match play free bet
Yes.
type of promotional credit that's allowed under the rules. The board could also change that. It's not obligated by statute to restrict promotional credits to slot machines.
Yeah, got it. Well, if that comes up, bring it to our attention.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah. Looks good. I'd say just proceed as planned.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you all.
Please, thank you, man.
thanks. All right, any other board business? Mel, do you have the date of the next meeting?
October 21st.
There we go. October 21st to 25. We'll be here. I will certainly send out things well in advance. There's a possibility I have to try a case that week, which case we'll figure it out, but likely not, but we'll see. So for now, plan October 21st in this room. I think we all know now how to get here. All right, any public comment? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, anyone in the room? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, Ms. McMorro.
Aye.
All right, Chief March.
No discussion? Aye.
Okay, Ms. May Boynton. I'm an aye as well. All right, so 9:55, we are adjourned. Thank you. Yes.
Wow, all righty. Easy.